Prophet Dr. Isaac Owusu Bempah asanso ama ne homne so biom e social media ne so a enya asem keto akora saa bere oba yi ensem a wabeyi ato social media na no odin ama binum ho adwiri wo mo paisa se enya enim se eba no Easter Sunday dia eye Yesu bu so we ho asem ene ye kananso ya papa ya wonu ana bra bomu nsem na nsem a wakaye no Ghana fo bi ho adwiri wo mo bi nso kanesa fei ene ye hu no ba bia ne ti ehye too much DHS so nie message afei no ehia me a but what did not subscribe, like, na share video yi. For my na Facebook bell on so. Sabe ya upload the to my when the first person I been a share. Now when I been sweaty Eddie account. I don't for them say ya quite same you more. Kwesi ade twa mu na Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. Obia fana fadia kama and ye preach ya hodo na de kwa ba ko so na ni nyina nam. Na so kopie mu e wo Reverend Isaac Owusu Bempah share ya. Wono ni preach ya wo de ba ye na kamia ye se wono ana bra bomu nsem. E kwan ya wo so niam fa so da ne ho adi kire no. Eniam a na ekoso na obi a wo ban ni bia ntimi hu no saa de no. Na wono nko ane hu no saa niam no. Wa chire ma me hu no tumi kura na e ba ne so saa bre na busua nyina entimi ehunu saa ensemi beto social media pe na Ghana phobia asase make reactions na wo mo kire se afei na ehunu se saa dodo asamuka yese no dodo na eye nokure esan se enche ekura na beto odwa se eye Isaac Owusu Bempah Reverend enyanya me honhom na wodi ye adwuma na akom tumi wo fie ho abusua no mi bia na se abusua tumi bi wo fie ho no na de ne ye adwuma ma ne hunu niema kwa akirisa na ebi gidi ebi nini na mum kwasi ade twa mu nsem odi abeto abonten na ya ma Ghana phobia ne na ya adwene wo nsem a wo ka no jebre ne okotie ne nsem no mra ne ba yato aso.
Now the reason I'm saying these things is that I saw myself to be nothing.
My family is nothing.
My family was nothing.
No, it says greatness be APA out of nothing.
But unbeknown to me, some greatness was springing out from nothing.
One evening, school.
One evening after school, it was at the time when my mothers would cook food for the family.
Around 5:30, baby, omo call far a foam abefia obiye aduane.
So it was around 5:30 at sunset when those who went out to the farm had returned home and were preparing food for the family.
Enti meti baby ewo fie ho.
So I was sitting in one corner of the house
ewo me krom
in my hometown.
Ekom de me na me twen enwumere aduane.
And I was hungry at that time. My expectation and anticipation was high, waiting for food to be ready so I'll be served.
In
the house, all members of our family were in the house.
And I was
crying out loudly and saying that, won't anyone come to my rescue? Can't you see this animal wants to kill me? But nobody was paying attention.
Dear Metiana said, Akwasi Bempah Nantina Utibricasa, Akwasi Bempah Ontrase, Akwasi Bempah Yoha Gendo, Akwasi Bempah, and I'm saying, Abu be Chimmy. All I did, Matem, said me, Dimrican, I mean, I'm feeling me to American and Fiho. Now, me hard and crowd.
All I could hear them saying was that they were yelling at me. You, Akwasi Bempah, won't you sit down? Why are you running? Why? What is your problem? Sit down, you are troublesome. They were hurling insults at me, and I was saying to them that chimpanzee wants to catch me, but they were still yelling at me.
Now, not
knowing I was the only person who was seeing the chimpanzee, every other person in that house could not see it.
Also, na oma bo adwe ena me dimrikanti me ti adwe ni bi so na pa me bo fom.
Now, just about the moment when the chimpanzee was about to pounce on me, I had reached a place where there were palm kernels on the ground. So I stepped on it and it rolled me and I fell to the ground. In fact, I fell heavily to the ground.
Afemi tia mu biem a me da fom. Man hu baby a
So when I fell down and I screamed out loudly, I couldn't tell where the chimpanzee went to.
And
so I started to cry.
And
my grandmother called me.
And I said,
and he said, Akwesi, what is the problem?
And I'm saying, I said to her,
Grandmom, I said, Grandmom, the chimpanzee was going to catch me. That huge chimpanzee. It was going to pounce on me. And she said, Akwesi, what is wrong with you?
A honor. Old lady be a friend of Nana Sikena.
Now there was an old lady called Nana Sikayena.
Na only ye fear your opposite.
Her house was opposite our house.
No Pemasempa.
And this old lady loved me so much.
The men now are
all her children lived abroad. Now I saw that she walked from her compound into our compound and said to me, Akwesi, come with me. Let's go. She held me by the hand and walked with me into her compound. And she gave me food to eat. And she said to me, Akwesi, today you will not sleep in your house. You will sleep in my house with me.
Nana Sikena.
She was called Nana Sika Yena. Very pretty looking woman.
Until that day,
so that day, she made me sleep in her room with her. She had laid a mat. She had laid a mat on the ground. She laid a mat on the ground for me to sleep on, and she was sleeping on the bed, and she did not allow me to sleep in my own house. I was very young and I did not understand it. I did not understand it then. So when I told the story to the man of God also told me a story. He said as a young boy he woke up one night and he was going to wee.
Said, Nipa biti se giant. Gold. Edani ko. Na ni trini eye mpese ba kope esidi triso. Na apushia ba ne bi. Ode akomfo nsebani bi aboni sisi. Na ose oba no ohun se eja etifiri nani na eja etifiri nani ose no swa enti no on de ogunsuo to opagya nani no ohun ade no ose ade no hwe ne din no no so hwe ade ne din ose wa nsuro because so swa no nima de bro.
He said when he woke up that night to go and weave, while he was weaving, he saw a very tall creature, very tall like a giant, and he had a golden chain around his neck, and he had very long hair, but it was in one bundle, and it was in front of his head, so it was lying, let's say, on his forehead, and he had talismans around his waist, and this creature was approaching, and there were sparkles of fire in his eyes. And as he approached him, he said he was not afraid because at that time he was young. So he looked up and stared at this creature. This creature stopped by him, looked at him intently, and also stared at him. And after a moment passed by. And all of a sudden he said goosebumps.
Between 8 and 9 years.
At that time he said it was around 8 to 9 years. But he was not afraid because he did not know what it was. He said the creature was very, should I say long or tall?
Electric pole.
As tall or as long as an electric pole. So he had to lift up his eyes and look up before he could see the face of the creature.
No say a shay edjam, ye cast a shay edja. As a osumi na a pride. ama baby I high ade asan but bosome ne timi bright ma baby I high to so ohu ade no no hwe ne yie pa ohwe ya hwe ne na se hwe mpabo ehye no nyina.
Wow. So it said it was the time of the night when the moon was so bright, and it was so bright that he could see because of the brightness of the moon. So he took a very good look at the creature, looked at the creature from top to bottom, and even paid a particular attention to the footwear the creature was wearing. He said what made him know that that thing was not an ordinary person was that there were sparkles of fire in his eyes, and that is what made him know that this creature is not a human being.
Inside.
So he went back into the room
And all catch say,
and then he told his parents or his guardian that when I went outside, I saw a certain man, and this is the look or the description of the man in his hometown. Now his grandparents, when they heard the story, were all quiet. Now in the morning they asked him again, what did you say you saw at night? And now he told them into detail what he saw. Now in the morning, the fetish priest in that town came to their house and told the family, now the fetish priest came to the house and said that the spirit that is the Lord over that town has manifested itself to one of the children in this compound. Which child was it?
So you know when now what
we know to them, at any time that spirit reveals itself to anybody, in the space of about a week, you will die.
Into yourself, family, now what? And
so the family got to know that within the week, that little boy was going to die.
But conform can't say, but some afraid.
The fetish priest said that this child,
God
has got a great assignment for him.
Now what you tell me?
Now after a week he didn't die, and from that time till now he's been alive, and God is using him mightily. Now the point I am trying to make is that how you construe and see yourself. God knows the greatness he has planted in you, which you are not aware of.
And a devil so new. And
the devil is also aware what God is about to use you for, or the blessing God has in store for you in your life, but you are not aware.
Fight you.
And so they will fight you.
And they
will try to destroy the gift that God has bestowed or God has planted in you, which will manifest for the blessing of mankind. But though they will wrestle against us, they certainly cannot prevail over us. The afflictions of the righteous are many, but God delivers him from all of them.
Yes,
Jesus was born.
Prophecy are fulfilling,
and his best fulfilled prophecy. God had a purpose for Christ, the anointed one's life.
Now Pia Espetisenka Yebewono Ewa Herod the palace.
Everyone had expectation that he would have been born in the palace of Herod
Because we great king.
because he was a great king. But that is not what happened.
Baby and Nipa expected.
Now, where men never expected,
Baby a why nothing.
where men construed to be nothing,
Baby a honya glorious.
a place which was not glorious,
A honya neat.
that place was not neat,
A honya rich man's house.
that place was not the house of a rich man,
But a nyambo.
but it was the manger.
And on poor village.
And even
Bethlehem.
that aside,
What Judah.
it was a poor village, Bethlehem of Judah.
A honor. Unyamidi the great leader. Appear.
Arafonom ensam no nia kwatie dodo na afiri ye papa nchen e di aba no e bra na wo dwane e ne wo tofom na wo se wo na fie na wa ya kofa na koda fie enya asam ketoa na utimi hu ne se na yetumi kase pa e na eyi ne hu adi a kire no sa bra no no osa enu ntire Ghana fo bi kire mu a sa tumi ne sha ase se e fa no no nyanne eye nkwala abra mu kra e na wa sha ase hu ne sa ne ma na abesi nne enu ntine nsam wa na wo ka e na wa yare bebre ekura wa fa mu ye be kai a Ghana fo bi so ba be ka ho asem se papa so e yare ene nti ono abeka se wa yare na kuro bi etu ne ade ade a na che se ensam wa Ghana fo ka no ebi betimi aye no kre ene wasa so de ne nkwada abre mu de si nyina betudwa ameno so ba bedadwa utie me na wo hwemi a ensam wa papa ka aye kwasi ade etwa mu ni e watie de wunim bia na kwanya ne wo ho se won so betumi de abeto comment section ho e de ama me na afa ni yatrase e won nsam ehu ni asua niema e de afi nsam ba ko mienu bia e betimi abepiem e wo honom mesre wo se emedi atembe kire wadwene na yensua bibi emfemfim tu magi echa so eni edwa so hema e na megi egwa ebre no ayebe da se ne ye besa ehia